New flooring is a solid choice if you're looking to make a big difference in your home. So this week on Today's Homeowner, we're rolling out some great do-it-yourself options and sharing some installation tips you don't want to miss. Almost any flooring project that you may take on around your home will start with a visit to a flooring showroom. And at some point during that visit, you'll probably say to yourself, I had no idea how many choices are available in flooring these days. Well, it is an important decision because flooring makes up such a large part of your home that it can really influence how it looks and how it feels. So if you're ready to make a big change, might be a good place to start. Now, a lot of people will want to take on this type of project themselves, but not all flooring is so do-it-yourself friendly. Carpet was once the way to go, but carpet is one of the least do-it-yourself friendly options. Plus, it's difficult to keep clean, and the fibers hold dust and other allergens, which make life miserable for people with respiratory problems. And if you have pets, well, let's just say everyone will know you have pets before they see them. Hardwood flooring is a great alternative to address the issues of cleaning and allergens, but it isn't necessarily DIY friendly. Traditional hardwood is nailed down to the subfloor and sanded, stained, and finished in place. That requires a lot of work, a lot of time, and some very specialized tools. Some hardwoods can be glued down, which makes installation on concrete subfloors easier. And in many cases, these products are pre-finished, which reduces some of the time and tools required. But these installations still demand skills and tools that not all homeowners have. Laminate floating floors offer a similar look but are much more friendly to the do-it-yourselfer because they require no adhesives and very few tools. The fact that they are inexpensive makes them an easy choice for a lot of homeowners. Ceramic tile can also be inexpensive, and even though installation is a little time-consuming, it's very popular with do-it-yourselfers because it can deliver a high-end look on a modest budget. Hey, we love getting questions from viewers, and lately it's all about flooring and can you put a certain type of floor over an existing floor? And if you've got concrete like this and you're wanting to install some ceramic, all you need to do is make sure the slab is nice and clean, and if you have any little holes here and there, fill them with a floor patch compound and you're ready to go. One question we've gotten is, what if I have vinyl on the floor and it's in pretty good shape? Can I then install ceramic over vinyl? Absolutely no problem at all, as long as the vinyl is glued securely to the slab. Now, here's another scenario, a wood subfloor. If you have a wood subfloor, can I install ceramic directly to it? Absolutely not. You'll have some flooring guys out there saying that it's okay, but I guarantee you'll end up with some cracks. Much better to do exactly this. First, this is half-inch cement backer board. You'll want to put down an adhesive below it. Then you'll want to screw it with coated screws. And then any seam that you have, you'll want to put fiberglass mesh tape over it, and then use a thin set adhesive to kind of smooth everything out. Then, when you work hard and install all of your ceramic, it'll be there for a long, long time. Hey, another option, we talked earlier about wood, and wood's beautiful. If you have a wood subfloor, you can nail it straight down there, but so many people are finding out about laminate floors and still being able to get that great wood look. So, if you have either concrete or wood, what you want to do first is use an underlayment. Now, this is a really good underlayment. There's a lot of different types of underlayment. Some will be very, very thin. It's a lot better, in my opinion, to step up to a better underlayment because it'll make for a much quieter floor and you'll get all of the vapor barrier that you need. After that's down, then you can take various types of laminate floor. These things are great now. They don't even require any glue. Just click them together like this. Follow your instructions. Make sure you don't get it too close to the wall because it does need to expand and contract a little bit. And in most cases, in less than 1 day, you can have a nice looking laminate floor.
After installing a new floor, there's one more important step you have to make, and that is to trim the bottom of the doors so that they clear the new flooring. In this case, we have a new tile floor put down, including this threshold, so I need to trim the door so it goes over that. And what I'm going to start with is a small block of 1/2-inch plywood. I like using 1/2 inch because that represents the clearance space beneath the door. So you just set the block in place, then measure from the wooden block up to the bottom edge of this hinge plate. And that is about 9.5 inches. Now we just transfer that measurement to the door itself, and again, using that same reference point, the bottom edge of the hinge, just mark it at 9.5 inches. There we go. Now I'll just square that line along. Now, if you cut right on that line, you'll end up with a door with exactly 1/2-inch clearance space beneath it.
This week we're looking at a number of flooring options for your home, particularly those that are very do-it-yourself friendly. Now, vinyl floor is a fairly inexpensive type of floor, but generally it's installed by a professional, because if you've ever tried to use that notch trowel and spread all that adhesive out, then put the vinyl down and have to roll it out to get all the air bubbles, it really does require some skill and some practice. But what if you could install a vinyl floor on the same principle that you have here on a laminate floor, where it basically just floats in place without any adhesive? That would be great, and that's exactly what we did recently in helping a friend of mine install a brand new product. The product is called AirStep Evolution from Congolium, and it's a flexible sheet flooring with a fiberglass backing that's much thicker than traditional sheet vinyl, so that it can be installed either with or without adhesive. Well, this material ought to go down pretty well. Let's just get a rough measurement and everything. If you'll hold that right over there against the wall, actually. Let's go to the wall. We'll add a few inches to our measurements for doorways, but otherwise this is pretty straightforward since the room is almost square.
And now we've got a few plates here we'll have to pat. Yeah, we had a water heater incident which flooded this room. Probably have to just take a putty knife and get the most of that out, and then we can just floor patch that and go right over all of this.
The floor patch will fill in the low places so that we don't feel any depressions under the new vinyl. While it dries, we remove the shoe molding around the perimeter of the room. We want to reuse this shoe mold, so we're being very careful not to break it. Outside, we roll the flooring out face down on the drive so that we can make our rough cuts. At about $2.75 a square foot, this stuff is pretty affordable, especially if you're installing it yourself, and almost anyone can do this project. We roll it back up in the opposite direction so that we can roll it out face up back in the room. One side of this tape sticks to the floor is really aggressive and will stick very well, but the other side supposedly has the ability, if you mess up a little bit, you can peel it. We'll see how all that works out. But let's go ahead and we'll put this down without peeling the backing off of it. So, 1/2 inch off the wall. The tape goes around all the walls to avoid any shifting while we're working. Finally, we're ready for the flooring. Yeah, perfect, perfect. And then, here we go. Hey, all right. All right, it's all yours. All right. Okay. Okay, when I say 3, jump up in the air. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Come on, we're having fun, man. With 2 walls set, we can peel off the backing on the tape to hold the flooring in position on those walls. Then it's a matter of cutting the sheet to fit the 2 remaining walls by folding it at the baseboard and cutting it in the fold. Cutting around the doorways takes a little more time, but it's still pretty easy if you have a nice sharp utility knife. All right, we're ready for shoe molding.
All right.
That'll definitely cover everything all the way around and give you a finished idea of the finished look. But
What I'd like to do, Danny, though, is if I could paint this before we put it back down. It'd be a little bit easier than trying to paint it in place.
And it's pretty cool that all of this came up as one piece. It didn't break a single bit of it. So
yeah.
It's just the skill in these hands that did that.
Exactly.
So the final step is the thresholds. John's planning to replace the floors in the adjacent room soon, so we're just gluing these in place to avoid putting any nail holes in the flooring where it will be seen. A few cinder blocks will hold them in place until they dry. Well, John, one of the things, a big advantage of this, you don't have to wait for any of the glue to dry before you can get in here with your drop cloth and go ahead and paint this room out.
Right. Went on a lot easier than I ever imagined putting a floor down.
Yeah. Have you tried have you installed any floor at all before?
I have not, but I have the confidence to get some of these other rooms done now.
It's pretty easy because without that glue process, installing vinyl like this is a heck of a lot easier because, like I said earlier, that notch trowel and glue just gets all over you. But hey, you don't have any glue on you, none on me.
All right.
Good day's work.
Good.
You know, I love installing laminate flooring because it's actually a very easy project. I think the hardest part about it is making your cuts because you got to go outside where you've either set up your table saw and your miter saw and then bring everything back in because it's time consuming when you do that. But wouldn't it be great if you had one saw that could make all of those cuts and you could keep it in the same room you're working in all at the same time? Well, Ryobi has come out with a great 5-inch laminate saw, and it's perfect for doing everything you need when you're putting down laminate flooring. Now, I've got a piece right here, so let me show you how it works. It's got a fence that I can just slide and pop into place, and then once I get it where I want it, I then lock down the blade here, and using the fence as my guide, I can push my plank lengthwise along the blade, and it will make my rip. Then, if I need to make a cross cut, all I would have to do is relocate the fence to this side. Once that gets locked into place, I then release the blade, and then what I could do is slide my plank underneath here, and it actually slides like a radial arm saw, so it doesn't matter the width of plank that I use, but I simply push the blade crossways across it, and I can get my cross cut every time. And with this advanced dust collection system that it incorporates, you will not kick up a lot of dust. It'll actually collect twice as much dust in here. So you can set this up in the same room you're working in so you can get your cuts perfect every time. You don't have to waste your time going outside, and you'll get your laminate floor down in no time.
This week we're looking at a number of different flooring options for your home. We've already looked at quite a few, but here's another one. Now, the floating floor like this, laminate floor, is a real popular concept, very do-it-yourself friendly, and you can get a floor like this that kind of looks like ceramic or porcelain, but now you can get a locking floor that floats that's actually porcelain. Now, this is a product that we saw at the International Builder Show last year, and it just clicks right together like this and has some great things that they say about this product, but you always wonder, will it really work as well as they say in a real-life situation? Alan found out this week. Alan demoed the product on a table at the trade show, so for his real-world test, he's chosen a vintage 50s bathroom in need of a flooring update, and its owner, Melanie Patithary, is helping with the installation and product evaluation.
The toilet definitely has to come up.
Removing the toilet is a must for new bathroom flooring if you want a nice, clean look. But getting all of the water out so that it doesn't make a mess, well, that's a bit of a trick.
This is one of those things I saw at a trade show like 3 years ago, and I've never got to use it yet.
Oh, well, good. I'm the first.
This is, yeah, you're the first one. Okay, I've got it open here. And all you're gonna do is take this little powder, pour this powder into the water.
Oh, I'm going to get to do that.
Yep.
Okay. Straight into the water.
All the way down.
Look at that.
Isn't that something? Look at there, it's already gelled up.
So it won't
So it won't
slosh
slosh out.
and
But here's the fun part, when we actually put the toilet back on and hook it up, and once turn the water back on, it will become liquid again.
Whoa.
So we don't have to do anything. We don't have to touch any of that. We're done. Grab walk. Get down and dirty.
I'm glad I did the part I did.
Yeah, no, this is the nasty part. Actually, it's just wax,
Yeah, but it's gooey.
but it's gooey.
Okay, now we can finally get to,
Oh,
the,
yes.
to the tile.
Yeah, I would start at the tub because I would hate to start in this corner and then get over here and only have a piece
Right,
of tile.
and over here, if that's over
Most
here,
of
it's
it's
going to
covered.
be hidden.
Yeah.
Because you've got the toilet and the lavatory.
Like all floating floors, Click's tile requires expansion gaps around the perimeter, so Alan is using some homemade spacers along the walls and tub. The manufacturer makes an installation kit that includes spacers and is sold separately.
So boom, that's our first tile. We've just laid one tile.
Hey,
That
aren't we
easy.
good?
So we're going to keep
Aren't we
going.
good?
Now, what makes this product so nice, Melanie, is the fact that we're not going to put mastic down.
Okay.
We're not putting, say if this were a wood subfloor, we're not having to put a backer board down because this has that polyurethane base with these little nodules on it. it becomes these little miniature I-beams everywhere.
Okay, so that'll keep it level and
yeah.
it won't wiggle and waggle.
As each new piece is added, it's simply clipped into place and tapped with a block to lock the joint tight. The marking of cuts is very similar to what you would do with ordinary ceramic, except the allowance for spacers. Cutting is exactly the same as traditional ceramic. You need a wet saw to cut through the porcelain and the polyurethane backing. Standing or kneeling on the tiles that are already laid seem to be the best way to tap in additional tiles, and in the middle of the room, this part goes really quickly. Where it begins to get tricky is as you near the opposite wall, there's less room to swing the rubber mallet, so it's a little more difficult to tap the pieces together, and each piece is a bit of a challenge. That installation kit we mentioned earlier is supposed to solve that problem, but since Alan doesn't have that, he has to do a little improvising. Now, what's interesting to see here is how quickly Melanie is picking this up.
Score down lines.
Score the straight line.
Straight down there, and that's what I need to keep.
As someone who's never laid tile before, she's really taking to it, even handling the cuts on the wet saw.
Am I good or am I good?
She's also putting in the rubber cove molding that'll cover the expansion joint around the edges. Finally, Alan can set the toilet and vanity back in place to finish up the project. But what do they think of it?
Well, you know, the clicking is very good
Yep.
if you're in a nice open space.
Right.
But when you get into an awkward corner or an awkward situation, there's no flexibility in the ceramic.
You're telling me this?
Well,
I know it, yeah.
you found that out.
I found that out.
Anyway.
You know, on the upside, I got to tell you though, I love the product. It works well. It looks good.
It looks grand.
But there were challenges.
Yes.
I'm tired.
I know you are.
I want
You've
water.
met those challenges.
I want a lot of water.
We-
No, I've had enough of this water. I want some water.
Ralph asks, we have some beautiful oak flooring beneath the old carpet in our house, but there's a few stains. Is there a way to remove those without sanding the whole floor?
Unfortunately, if you have some really deep stains in your hardwood floor, it will have to be sanded and refinished in order to get rid of those stains. Even then, some of the real deep stains are really hard to get rid of. Here's a little trick that will help you a lot on that, is basically take a cotton rag, take hydrogen peroxide, soak it down well, put it over the stain, and allow the hydrogen peroxide to pull a lot of that stain out. But another thing you want to try before you go through the expense of all of the sanding and refinishing of your hardwood floor, try some of the new cleaners that are available now that are called rejuvenators that'll thoroughly clean the surface of your hardwood and actually dissolves a little of the finish to give it a nice consistent look. You may be able to save money instead of having to completely refinish the floor. The new twists that simplify flooring installation shouldn't be any surprise when you consider how popular these projects are with do-it-yourselfers. Whether you try one of these new products or stick with the tried and true, the fact is it's never been easier to tackle your own flooring project, and that means there's no reason to put off improving your home one step at a time. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you next week here on Today's Homeowner. The flooring showroom, and at some point during that visit you'll probably say to yourself, I had no idea there were so many choices, different colors, styles, different